Kind of a peculiar problem. I bought a refurbished, allegedly on eBay, from eBay, Logitech MX Master to use at work. At home, I use an old MX Revolution, which I'll probably eventually upgrade to one of these. But when I plugged it in, well, the first thing that was weird was the pads, the gliding slide pads, whatever they're called, were all kind of warbly and stuff, so it's obvious that they had been in, someone had been inside this before, maybe to replace the top or something for the refurbishing or something like that. But the problem that I had was the gesture button, the back forward, the thumb scroll, horizontal scroll, and the top auxiliary button were all non-functioning. And I tried uninstalling and reinstalling the software and removing it and adding it from device manager and all the whole 9 yards, everything I could try. None of those buttons would work. But I could still like bind, let's say, the back button to the scroll wheel, the main scroll wheel, and that would work. Then I could go back on a web page, etc. Anyway, so I just started using this today and at work. I didn't really test it out that much before. Like, I got it in 2 days ago and plugged it in, and I was like, yep, it works, whatever. Anyway, what I found was on the inside, quick tip to take these apart, there's 4 screws under each of those pads, and then there's the 2, and those are just little Phillips screws, and then 2 T5 Torx screws at the front, and you can kind of pop the front off, and then it's still clipped a little bit. So it won't just fall off completely open. And the thing was, that ribbon cable right there in the middle that goes to the top, and therefore all of the buttons, was completely disconnected. I even emailed Logitech in the middle of the day and was like, hey, my mouse is not working. And I'm afraid they'd be like, oh, it's a refurb, you'll have to send it back to whoever you got it. But it's such a quick fix. All I had to do is take out those screws and plug that little ribbon cable back in, and now everything works. Here's my subscription feed. I can go back, forward, back, forward. Yeah. I wasn't actually letting the page load, but yay, it's fixed. So if you have that problem and all of those buttons don't work, especially if you got a refurbished one of these, you might pop it open if you have a T5 Torx, which is the tiny little 6-sided star. Or sometimes you can use a tiny flat-headed screwdriver to wedge in there and still get the screw out. Yeah, open it up and see if that ribbon cable is even connected. And when you open it up, you might be careful, because if you pull too hard, you'll just pull that ribbon cable out, which is probably what happened, maybe with the refurbishing people or something, and they just neglected to put it back in or forgot or whatever. Anyway, just a quick, silly fix for a problem that probably no one will have, but maybe. Take it easy. Oh, and one more tip. When you have it apart and you're about to put it back together, you need to put this tab right here on the gesture button thing in first. Because if you try to do it all at once without putting that in, it'll get stuck out like that. Like that. So just slide that in first, and then click the rest down and put your screws back in, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.